Hey guys, what is really going on? Um, I wanted to talk about like how to listen to your inner voice and how to get like the thoughts that like run in the mind, right? How to deal with all that so that you can meditate, so you can hear that still small voice, okay? If your mind is racing, it's how do you hear the still small voice? You can't, right? So that's why, you got to tell the universe and speak out loud and say your prayers out loud, audibly, okay? Is so that you are letting the universe know your intentions, okay? So you would say, all my thoughts go to my heart, because negative thoughts can't exist in your heart, okay? So also the reason why you listen to the frequency and chakra music to heal your chakras, okay? And you're tuning in like a radio. You're learning how to do this, okay? So like your first time meditation, like say 12 minutes, put a timer on it, or 15 minutes, and you work your way up. And as you do this, you learn to hear better, and then you learn to trust the inner voice. There's steps to all this. This is not something that's like instant. I had to learn this, right? But you also go out in nature. God is nature, not religion, right? See, like if you have someone that writes a Bible, okay, and this is the problem with that, is that if that someone is twisted, whatever they hear is going to be twisted. And then everyone that's reading that, especially if they're, a mystic, like they have certain abilities and they use that for wicked reasons, whether they're aware of it or not. It causes others to, how can I put it, to be dealing with that same spirit or shadow that their problem was. Okay? So you've got to learn to listen to the divine yourself, not rely on an intermediary. Okay? I mean, you can listen to, YouTube channels, stuff like this, but you want to have that relationship with God, okay? With the true creator. Let me ask you something. How does a man create more humans? To have more humans to be birthed, it has to be through female. That only makes sense. So you've got to be in your own relationship with the divine. You've got to learn to hear, which also, increases your intuition. And you need your heart to be open so that you can see without blinders on. Now, you go in through a process called the hermit mode, which is in isolation, away from other people, clouding and mudding things up, because they may not be where you're at. They may be ahead, they may be behind. Everyone has their own path. Everyone. Your own path, your own purpose. That's why you don't look at someone else and gauge where you're at on that. Now, you can see something and pray for it, okay? But, you can want a lot of things, a lot of big things. It may mean that you go through a lot to get there. And perhaps that's what some of these people prayed for and don't realize that they're on that journey. Like they had to go through a lot of really bad things to get to where they want. You know? And to be reborn, you really are reborn. It's not in an instant. Rapture is literally leaving, the bonds of Satan. Those chains. And those chains are on the mind. So you need to have meditation time. It's, if you do this, you do meditation and you're not seeing anything, you do prayers, you're not seeing anything, you can't sit here and expect everything to be, push button, instant gratification. Why do you think the world has gone to the way it has? You have so many people that are trying to fight and stop the people that are there to help. It's like they're covering their eyes, covering their ears, and covering their mouths and doing it to everyone else too. Which is only slowing their progress. And you may be slowing other people, but they're still going to get there. Because it's their purpose. And the harder that they come at them, it's just, they learn from it. They learn, the more that people come at them, they learn from it. It's called alchemy and transmutation. You're transmuting the energy. How does God take something that's wicked or evil and turn it to good? God did not create evil. It was literally people that just dropped into the void. Their chakras, unhealed, imbalanced. And that's how that occurred. But the divine definitely knows what's coming in the future because it's been repeated so much. History repeats itself until you do something to change it. So if you know, like your Akashic records, and you know what happened in the past, what you did, and it ended up this way and this way, it's because of something that was going on. It was either something that person was doing, or someone was doing something to them. That's why you need discernment. Discernment is vital. You need to pray for discernment in everything, because you can, if your chakras are imbalanced, you're not going to hear things the way someone does that has theirs balanced, or is working on theirs to get them all in balance. That's getting your shadow back, is in all your fractured pieces over time, over lots of time, okay? So when you're healing your chakra and you're getting all these, like fractured pieces back, and you become complete and whole, that's your, how can I put it? That's your way to manifest. You manifest your destiny, okay? It changes everything. So you have people that are not seeing, they're blind, and they can't hear, even though they can hear, but they can't hear what they need to hear because they're not taking these actions. Again, you always want to speak your intentions. You can write these things out, okay? To, get your little index cards, always, speak my intentions aloud. It doesn't have to be super loud, but just aloud, right? You have a world that's inverted. And apologizing, it is cathartic. It's cathartic to the person apologizing. It helps them to change. And you may not be able to reach the person that you need to apologize to. Do a video. Okay? Do a video and trust that it's going to get to the person that needs to hear it, or that you feel needs to hear it. They may not need it. It's just really about that person. So, and you need balance. You need balance. So if you have taken from someone, or, even taken from them by doing loans in their name, or getting, material things in their name, you can't do that. You have to come clean, be honest, return those things from where you got it, wherever you got the loan, or whatever was going on. You've got to clear all that up. You can't do this to other people, be in lack and think that you're going to scrounge and steal from others, because that's being a Satanist. Just steal, kill, and destroy. I mean, do you understand what people were saying? Because, I've got scars right here, and then they have, Harlequin or whatever, and welcome to the Suicide Squad. That's pretty sick. But those are people that's how they feel about themselves. And they're not even seeing it. This is about healing and stopping actual physical death. Just going through the transformational death, which means you go into being a caterpillar, which a caterpillar goes into a cocoon, a hermit mode, and has that transformation to change, and turns it into beauty. That is alchemy and transmutation. And it's what changes everything. People want to be abundant. They want to have this, they want to have that, because all they can think about is material things, because they're in pain. They can't see things from a heart perspective, or a heart, mind, and Mother Earth coherence and perspective. Again, God is nature, not religion. If you're triggered and you go and attack people because it's not what you were programmed, you need to understand that you were programmed. Do you get angry with the people that programmed you? It's time to learn how to let go of the anger, the resentment, all those things. And the chakra healing is where that's at, and being in nature and disengaging from news, the things that keep you distracted. And you need to notice that. We have people that are pulling out all the distractions that they can to keep you from this, because they're in fear of being left behind. Everything is not the way that you thought. It's in a different way. It's a new and different perspective. That's why you look at things upside down or sideways, literally and metaphorically, which means spiritually. Okay. And if you sit there and you look at, say, the Bible, for instance, only literally, you're not going to get things right. You need to be able to see in a metaphorical, spiritual sense. There's a word with multiple meanings. So if you look at everything with multiple meanings, you can see things differently. You're to rely on your heart for truth. Books are for reference. Because remember, someone probably wrote it that maybe wasn't healed all the way. And if you're plagiarizing someone, but putting your twist on it, because your twist is going to be on it no matter what, that can be disastrous. Think of the Jumanji book. It can be Pandora's box. It's vital to connect with the divine, which is the ether. You're like a computer. And when you're plugged into the ether, then you have limitless possibilities. You just have to be able to see that and connect, right? All right, y'all. Love you guys. Take care. And I pray that everyone truly wants to heal, so that we don't have to go through this anymore. No one. You reincarnate. That's what this means, to go through the transmutation and transformation, is so that you do this and you don't have to do it again. And it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. Or you get, the Hopi, HOPI, prophecy wall. There's like 3 videos that should come up about that. Watch that, because there's one line that ends. There's one line that continues on forever. You don't want to be in this materialistic and greed and selfishness line, because it ends. Doesn't come back. But you have to make the choice to heal. You have to make that intention known and really obvious to the universe, because the universe may be testing you to make sure that's truly what you want. And you want to make sure it is truly what you want, so that you can get what it is that you are praying and hoping for. And don't make this about a person. Like, I want this person. Let that shit go. Alright? You need to make this about you. You want you healed. You want to learn to love yourself. You want to learn how to take good care of yourself, to get off of alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, to learn to use like plants as medicine, as food, in a healing way, not in an abusive way, right? If you don't learn how to do this, then you can't get shit straight. Okay? So we can stop all of this harm that people are doing to others. That's got to end, and it's going to end one way or another. There will be balance in the universe. So, I am highly suggesting that you choose to heal, but you are not forced to. It has to be what you want. But when you do this, and you go through all the steps, it is absolutely limitless. Absolutely limitless what you can do. But you got to do it the right way to have the right balance. You got to get any karmic debt off of you. So if you've stolen, killed, steal, any of that, you've got to make that right. You got to make amends. Even, what's it called? AA has, amends. Now, if you go into a group and you're listening to people who are in the negative, you don't need to be around that. That's why your church, which is the bride, is where you're in hermit mode, in cocoon mode, where you are with yourself and the divine. Because that's what you're doing, is you are marrying in with the divine. That is your twin flame. That is your soulmate first. So that you learn who your real soulmate is. All right, y'all. Take care.